Good morning, students. This is Arvind Dobriyal, and you all are welcome to the e-learning portal of Cambridge International School, Daswa. We are reading the supplementary reader, that is Moments. So, the chapter that we will discuss today is The Beggar, written by Anton Chekhov. Before starting today's chapter, let's have a quick recap of the chapter A House is Not a Home that we have already discussed in our previous video. The author misses his old school and friends. The author says that his first year at school was not pleasant. He felt like a freshman. His school was twice bigger than his old school. His old friends had gone to a different high school. So he felt very lonely. He missed his old teachers also. He visited them. They advised him to take part in their school activities. One Sunday afternoon, the author was sitting at home. He was doing his homework. It was cold. Fire went on in the fireplace. He had his cat nearby. His mother stoked the fire. Suddenly, he noticed the smoke from the ceiling. After some time, it increased. They came in the front yard. But the fire had surrounded the place. It was spreading. His mother ran back into the house, and the author ran to the neighbors to call the fire department. The author's mother then ran out of the house with some important documents. She ran back into the house again. She wanted to get the pictures and letters of her husband. He ran after her, but the fireman caught him very tightly. The author told him that his mother was inside. The fireman seated him wrapped in a blanket in the car. Soon another fireman brought the author's mother from inside. He put her in the truck with an oxygen mask over her mouth. She was otherwise all right. She had only inhaled a little more smoke. After 5 hours, the fire was finally put out. The house was completely burned down. It struck the author that he had not seen his cat. He started weeping. The firemen did not allow him to go inside the house. They went to the author's grandparents for the night. The author gets sad and wants to die. The next day, the author went to the school. He was in his old dress and with no shoes. He had no books or homework. The backpack was also gone. He felt very sad. He felt if he would be an outcast all his life. The author walked through his house to school. Everything had been destroyed. Only the photo albums, documents, etc. were not destroyed. His heart ached for his cat. His mother took him soon from there. They would have to find a place to live. Soon all came to know about the author's plight. People collected around him to take him to the gymnasium. The author was surprised. Soon he knew it. The table inside had a collection of school things. These were notebooks, clothes, jeans, top, sweatsuits, etc. The author grew emotional. He felt great relief as the people came to meet him. They were those who had not visited him earlier. A month later, the author was at his house. It was being rebuilt. His two friends from school visited him. Soon a woman came to him. She had a cat with her. She asked the author if the cat was his. The author got the cat from her at once. The cat purred happily. The author's friends were hugging him. One day the author sat with his friends. The cat curled up in his lap. The feeling of loss and sad had vanished. He felt gratitude for his life and his new friends. He also felt it for the kindness of a stranger and the purr of his cat. Now, first of all, I would like to tell you something about Anton Chekhov, the author of this chapter. Anton Chekhov was born on 29th of January in 1860 in Russia, and he was died on 15th of July 1904 in Germany. He was a Russian playwright and short story writer who is considered to be among the greatest writers of short fiction in history. His career as a playwright produced four classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writer and critics. Chekhov has first written stories to earn money, but as his artistic ambition grew, he made formal innovations which have influenced the evolution of the modern short story. He made no apologies for the difficulties this posed to reader, insisting that the role of an artist was to ask questions, not to answer them. In the year 1884, Chekhov qualified as a physician, which he considered his principal profession, though he made a little money from it and treated the poor free of charge. In 1884 and 1885, Chekhov found himself coughing blood, and in 1886 the attacks worsened. But he would not admit his tuberculosis to his family or friend. He confessed to Lakin, "I am afraid to submit myself to be sounded by my colleagues." He continued writing for weekly periodicals, earning enough money to move the family into progressively better accommodations. The Beggar is a story about a drunkard beggar named Lashkov. Sergei, an advocate, gives him work at his house so that he can feed himself and stop begging. Although he agrees that he is not willing to work, the work given to him is done by Olga, as she feels pity on his miserable condition. He goes to another place for work as recommended by Sergei and becomes a notary. Sergei meets him after 2 years and is happy to know about his job. Sergei thinks that he is responsible for changing him, but it was Olga's kindness and unconditional help that had made his ways. And now the explanation part. A man was begging alms. He said that he had not eaten anything for last 3 days. He did not even have 5 kopecks to pay for a room to spend the night. He swore by God that he spoke the truth. He had been a school teacher in a village for 8 years but lost his job due to a conspiracy of his colleagues. For the last 1 year, he was without work. An advocate named Sergei looked at the light brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar had dull, drunken eyes. There were red spots on both his cheeks. Sergei felt that he had seen the man before. The beggar continued that he had got an offer of a job in the state of Kaluga in Russia. He did not have enough money to travel to this place. He wanted help, though he felt ashamed asking for it, but his circumstances forced him to do so. Sergei saw the man's shoes. Both of them had varied heel size. He remembered something. He said that the day before the previous day he had seen the same beggar at Sadovia Street. Then the beggar had said that he was a student who had been removed from the institution and not that he was a school teacher. He asked the beggar if he remembered that. The beggar was shocked and spoke softly that it was not possible. He reasserted that he was a school teacher and could show his documents also. Sergei said that he had lied enough. He added that the beggar had told him that he was a school teacher and had even told him the reason for getting expelled from the institution. Sergei was full of anger and turned away from the beggar. He screamed that the beggar was dishonest. He was a cheat and Sergei would hand him over to the police. The beggar confessed that he was lying and he was neither a school teacher nor a student. He had been a singer in a Russian group and was removed due to his drinking problem. He lied because people would not give him alms if he told them the truth. Sergei screamed at him and said that he would work instead of lying. The beggar said that he knew he should work, but there is no work for him. Then Sergei asked if he would chop wood for him. The beggar wanted to chop wood but said that even skilled woodcutters were out of work, so who would employ him for it? Sergei offered him work. The beggar replied that he would chop wood for him. Sergei said that his willingness of work would be judged soon. He walked off, rubbing his hands, and called the cook from the kitchen. He asked Olga, the cook, to take the man to the woodshed and let him chop some wood. The beggar resembled a scarecrow. His reluctance to go to the shed was signified by his act of shrugging his shoulder. He followed the cook hesitantly. He was hesitant because he was hungry and although he wanted to work, but he did not feel energetic enough to do it. As he had promised Sergei, he had to go to work. But he did not feel strong enough because he was under the influence of alcohol and was not fit to do any laborious work. Sergei went to the dining room to look outside the window. He could see the woodshed and the yard also. He saw the cook and the beggar in the yard. They walked to the shed. The cook Olga stared at the beggar angrily, pushed him with her elbow, and shut the door. Then he saw the beggar who had lied that he had been a school teacher sitting on a log of wood. He sat with his cheeks resting on his fist. Olga threw the axe towards him and scolded him. The beggar pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it between his feet, and hit it weakly with the axe. The wood shook aside. He pulled it again, tried to warm up his hand by blowing into them, and again tapped the wood with the axe. He was careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. The wood fell once again. Sergei was not angry at the beggar any longer. He felt sorry and ashamed for himself to put the poor man at the hard work in such cold weather, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. After an hour, Olga came and announced that he had chopped all the wood. Sergei was glad that the beggar had done the work. He asked Olga to pay him half a ruble. He added that she could tell him to come on the first day of every month to cut wood. They would give him some work. The beggar turned up on the first day of the month and got half a ruble, although he was heavily drunk and could not even stand on his feet. Often he went there for work. He would do various jobs like shoveling of snow, set the wood in the shed, beat the rugs to remove the dust, and he earned 20 to 40 kopecks for it. Once Sergei gave him a pair of trousers too. Then Sergei shifted to another house and he hired the beggar to help in moving the articles like furniture. Now the man was not under the influence of alcohol. He was sad and remained quiet. He hardly took part in moving the furniture. He simply walked behind the vans and his head hanging low, and he did not pretend to be busy. He shivered due to the cold weather and seemed embarrassed when the other workers made fun of him for being idle, weak, and laughed at his torn overcoat. When the work was completed, Sergei called the beggar. Sergei said that he was happy to see the change in the beggar due to his scoldings. He gave him a ruble for his labor and asked him his name, as he had left drinking and was willing to work too. The beggar replied that his name was Lashkov. Sergei wanted to offer him better work and asked if he could write. Lashkov replied in positive. Sergei handed him a letter to be delivered to a friend of his. Sergei's friend would give copying work to Lashkov. He instructed him to work hard and they parted. Sergei was happy that he had reformed a man. He tapped Lashkov on his shoulder and shook hands with him. Lashkov went away with the letter and he never returned after that. After 2 years, one evening Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theater. He was buying a ticket. He saw Lashkov standing next to him. He was well dressed, wore a coat. The collar of the coat was made of fur and wore a cap made of seal skin. He was shy as he asked for a ticket of the gallery seat and paid for it in coins made of copper. Sergei recognized Lashkov and met him. He asked how he was, what was he doing, and how everything was going on. Lashkov replied that he was fine and working as a notary. He got paid 35 rubles a month. Sergei was glad and thanked God for reforming the beggar. He said that he considered Lashkov to be his godson because it was due to his scolding that he was a changed man. That day, the beggar had been at his feet. He was asking for mercy. He was glad that Lashkov did not forget his words. Lashkov thanked him and said that if he had not met Sergei that day, he would still be lying and begging. He came out of the pit with the help of Sergei and was glad for his help. He thanked Sergei for his kindness. He was grateful to the cook. She was a noble woman. Although Sergei had been kind to him, but it was Olga who saved him and reformed him. He asked Sergei how he felt about the truth. Lashkov continued that when he would visit the place to chop wood, Olga would scold him and she would feel sad for him and wept. She felt very sad for him and would chop all the wood for him. Her behavior changed him. Just then the bell rang and Lashkov bowed to Sergei and left for the gallery to the theater. Now, dear students, I am going to conclude what we have read today. Advocate Sergei was detained by a beggar one day. The beggar was crying to have pity on him. He said that he had nothing to eat. He had been a school teacher for 8 years, but now he had lost the job. The beggar was in rags. He had dull and drunken eyes. He had the red spot on either cheek. He wore one high and one low shoe. Sergei recognized the beggar. He told him that he had met him in Sadovya Street. Then he had called himself a student. Sergei warned him that he would send for the police. The beggar admitted and told the truth. Sergei asked the beggar to chop wood for him. The beggar agreed to do that work, though unwillingly. The beggar was taken by Sergei's servant Olga to the shed. He had to chop woods there. Sergei could see Olga and the beggar in the shed. Olga gave the beggar an axe, but seeing the expression on his face, she scolded him. The beggar put a billet of wood between his feet. Then he struck it feebly with his axe. The billet fell down. Meanwhile, Sergei went away. He had set a drunken and spoiled man at work in this cold. He began to feel sorry for it. Sergei found work for the beggar, and the beggar would cut the wood on the first day of every month. He would also shovel snow. He would beat dust out of the rugs and mattresses. He would put the woodshed in order. Sergei moved into another house after some time. The beggar packed and carried the furniture. 2 years went by. One evening, Sergei was standing at a ticket window of a theater. He was paying for his seat. He saw a little man beside him. That man wore a curly fur and worn sealskin cap. Sergei recognized him. He asked him how he was. Lashkov told Sergei that he was a notary then. He was paid 35 rubles a month. Sergei was very pleased to hear him. Lashkov thanked Sergei for what he had done for him. He told Sergei that if he had not helped him, he would have still been telling lies and begging. He thanked Sergei and Olga, the cook. He told Sergei that Olga had actually saved him. Lashkov told Sergei that Olga would rebuke him. Then she would sit opposite to him and weep. She would call him various names. She would grow sad also. Then she would chop the wood for him. He amazed Sergei by saying that he did not chop a single stick of wood for him. Due to Olga's action, there came a change in his heart. He was set right by Olga and he won't forget her. He told Sergei that it was the time for the bell and he departed to the gallery. So, dear students, on the basis of your understanding the chapter, there are some questions for you. I hope you will do all these questions by yourself. So, until the next class we meet, just take care of yourself and keep studying. Thank you.